Hey everybody, I'm just going to give it a few minutes here before we get it started. Just as usual, we usually like to give it 3 to 4 minutes before we kick it off, give everybody a chance to join in without being late.
No problem.
Should be a fun conversation.
Yeah, definitely will be a fun conversation. We've been talking about it all year, so
I'm
lots to
just
talk about for sure.
it's crazy, just the ebb and the flow of the conversation as a whole. Um, it's I don't know, the different series of tech that's coming out and the lifetime of the life cycle of tech as a whole and helping the digital space. I mean, you think early on of just like a one click helping with market share. You think about, a Sky back in the day. Anyways, it's crazy how often uh, these things pop back up where there's a new round of things to be chatting about.
Yeah, absolutely. Now is definitely a time for new rounds. As it relates to Amazon, Amazon has been definitely making its, claiming its stake into advertising as well, as other platforms. But I think they really kind of changed the landscape because things become more competitive. I know, what's it, 2015, maybe 2016, when they started launching like sponsored ads on Amazon, and
Yeah, you remember that back in the
that's
day?
great.
Was what was
Um,
a nickel a
what
bid?
what a wild west, you know what I mean? I caught on a little bit later. I'll talk about that with some of my experience, but I was in there starting in like late 2016, early 2017. So,
Okay,
people were still figuring out about it, right? And now it's just like if you're not running sponsored ads, you're
it's
typically not doing things the right way. So it's been interesting
yeah,
for sure. And now we're talking about AMC, DSP, sponsored TV and video streaming. It's the landscape has
it's
changed.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
crazy.
Yeah,
Awesome. We'll give it like 30 more seconds here.
no
You know
problem.
what? Let's go ahead and kick it off. Why not? It's 3 minutes after the hour.
Absolutely.
Happy well, what is this? Thursday, everybody. Man, the time's been flying. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great week so far. My name's Aaron Kona. I'm the co-founder, managing director here at BWG Connect. We're just a giant networking knowledge sharing group, been around for 7 years now. It's funny, we were just talking about like timing and all. I was leaving Perigo in 2017 in June on your team, right? Was who I was buying ads from at the time. And so,
Yeah. Wow.
um, everybody, I want to make sure that we get this as educational and informational as possible. So if you have questions, you can drop in the chat. I'd like to have a follow-up conversation with everybody. That's how we stay on top of trends. So feel free to shoot me an email. I'll shoot you one as well. But Aaron, AARON at bwgconnect.com, and we'll get as many questions answered as possible. That way as well, if you'd rather take it offline. I guess the other thing is, just we're not going to go the full hour. We try to keep it under that, give you plenty of time to get onto your next meeting without being late, to maybe grab a cup of coffee or sandwich along the way. And I think that's yeah, I think that's about it. So today, Amazon advertising as a whole, the advancements, the AI, the marketing cloud, it's just something that's been coming up a ton over the past 6 to 7 months. I think a lot of that was the marketing cloud's release last spring for new to brand ROAS, that you're able to actually take a look at incremental customers to your business, which is really neat. And all of a sudden it exploded. And that's what a lot of people were looking for. And so we've got some great friends, partners, supporters of the network for a long time now. I mean, David, you and I go back to the York Pacific Medium Monks days.
Yeah.
Kashif and June on your team, like from Amazon as well. But you guys are doing some great stuff. I'll kick it over to you if you want to do a brief intro on yourself and XMARS as well, and what you guys are doing in this space. And then we'll jump into the conversation as a whole. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great. For those of you online, my name is David Liggins. I'm an account executive here at XMARS. Been with the company at the beginning of the year, around April. So even though kind of newish to XMARS, definitely not new to advertising and Amazon. Spent just shy of a decade up to all my experiences with Amazon. I'm former Amazonian. I've built a few private label brands, pivoted to account management, advertising management for small, medium-sized brands. Then went to the agency side at Orca Pacific / Media Monks, where I met you, Aaron, as well. with that team and started running, DSP and also sponsored ads for medium-sized brands and enterprise as well. So the landscape has changed since I first started selling on Amazon when I first got involved. It's a really exciting time right now. And so we could definitely speak a little bit about that and just a little bit about Xmars. We're the new ad tech company, the new kids on the block, if you will, but we're not inexperienced in this space. And I'm really proud about the things that we're doing here, which is why I decided to join the team. Some of the features, the AI, the optimizations. I was one of the early adopters with Xmars over at Media Monks. Kind of really changed the game for me and opened my eyes to some of the things and advancements that we're doing in advertising. So happy to talk about some of the things that we're doing at Xmars and kind of why we're finalists for a couple of awards this year as well.
Yeah, awesome. So that'll be, hey, if anybody's going to be at Unboxed, right? We're actually doing a dinner with the Xmars team at Unboxed that's in Austin. Just let us know. Ping us. I think we have seats left. Well, just ping us. More than happy to send you an invite. Be great to meet people in person as always. But so let's dive into a little bit. I do want to carve it out a couple different ways. So one of it is around best practices as things have evolved over the past year. But I also, want to do things that are specific to, Turkey 5, Cyber 12, Cyber Quarter, all this stuff that
Pretty
actually,
much.
yeah, pretty much starts in, I don't know, what is it? Just another week or so here, right? We hit Q4 and, everything ramps up across the board from discounting and paid media. Obviously, Cyber 5 is huge, but so I want to tackle both sides of that. Is what is the new things that people need to be thinking about, and then specifically around Cyber 5, are there things that people need to be doing now to prepare for it? So where do you think we should start?
Man, there's a lot here. And that's, one of the things here, let's see. I would say I'll talk a little bit about you talk about advancements and why we talk about AMC and what this could lock for you, but we also talk about some of the preparation, how AI maybe influence some of these campaigns and things you should be doing leading up to this holiday period or any seasonal period that you may have throughout the year, right? So it's not just relevant for what's happening now in Q4, although that's going to impact a lot of businesses, but these strategies and ideas could be taken all throughout the year as well, or any tentpole event, or just incrementally for your business and things that you want to do to impact your strategy. So I think one of the things here we're going to talk about is kind of the AI and the power of AI in regards to kind of how it's helped myself kind of manage brands as well, and also brands who manage this in-house. So even if you're working with an agency partner or you're doing advertising yourself, AI is really useful. I know it's a big buzzword, with this as AI, but not making this a sales pitch here, but Xmars is doing things very differently, right? And so the way that we built our AI, we have many things that are in the background that kind of impact the way that you optimize on your bids on an hourly basis, the APIs and the information that we're pulling in directly from Amazon, helping you to build more efficiency within your campaigns. It is really just helps an advertiser focus on the strategy and execution, right? Implementing those strategy, implementing those campaigns that's going to help reach your goal for that business versus all of the analysis, the deeper analysis on the day-to-day stuff that you have to do, right? So a lot of that stuff, we can really kind of offload so we can really focus on why we're doing certain things that we're doing versus just looking at the numbers, making some bid changes here every couple of weeks and hoping that the performance is going to outperform the previous week. So I think that's the kind of the biggest topic here. And so I can dive a little bit into like how that works with Xmars if you don't mind, but it's totally up to you.
No, I think that's a great way. And I just realized the chat for some reason has been disabled. I can't turn it on. So if you have questions, anybody have questions along the way, just drop them in the Q&A portion and we'll answer them there. But no, I mean, Dave, I think it's a great way to start. I think we're at the point now where it's like it's every month now, at least every quarter. It's that refresher of, hey, this is the newest stuff. This is the way you need to be thinking about it. This is the way you should be taking a look at the tech stack that you have. These are the questions you need to be asking your agency as a whole. Because I mean, the rate of change within Amazon advertising, right? You even mentioned streaming TV. I mean, they're going to be buying inventory on Netflix, right? By the beginning of next year, I believe. I mean, it's everywhere. So there's all these new things that a refresher is always great. And then we can kind of get into the nitty gritty around, Cyber 5 and all.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the big things, I guess from my experience, I'm just going to like lean on that quite a bit here. When you're looking at your tech stack, you mentioned your tech stack, and we speak to a lot of agencies and larger brands who are looking at either consolidating their tech stack or looking for technology that can really help them in their business. And so that's one of the things I'm really proud of and why I joined the team. Is because I was one of those early adopters using XMARS, and I saw the performance gains that I was able to get to some of my clients and the brands that I was managing. Um, and this also the workload efficiencies as well, right? And those are some of the biggest things. And some of our key differentiators with XMARS, and this is also why we were one of the finalists for the Technology Innovation Award in 2022. We won that award in 2023. We're a finalist for the Technology Innovation Award for 2024, along with Beyond the Funnel Award for Americas, and also a finalist innovation award here. And so we're really excited about some of the things that you're doing. That's just kind of a testament to kind of some of the things that we're doing with our AI. The key differentiators here are the 8 AI actions. And I know this is going to get a little bit into some of the weeds here, but this is really important because with all the technology you have to choose from, this is why we're able to kind of typically outperform some of our competitors here. We optimize on your bid optimizations on an hourly basis. We have budget allocation, reallocation, budget optimization that goes into that as well. Day and time parting for your budget, keyword harvesting, keyword negation, rapid testing. These are all the things that we do to help build that efficiency. Also structure and campaign optimization as well. And this is why we're able to perform. So we're able to pull on each of these levers. And what's so unique is that we can leverage this technology even on the stuff that you're already doing, right? If you already have existing campaigns, you can still leverage our AI. You don't have to build them natively with XMARS tool. Once you get into XMARS, you can actually start implementing them on your campaigns that are performing, we've seen great success. And so that's what makes our tool really powerful. And for me, that's one of the biggest things. I was able to kind of look at like, okay, I don't have to worry about making these micro changes, these bids, multiple times in a day for, 10, 15 accounts at a time. I can focus on here's what we're trying to do. Our new customer acquisition, is it new to brand, right? Are we deeper into the funnel and just want to help grow our sales? Are we in a maintenance stage, for example? And these are the things that kind of, I guess, help direct what or influence what campaigns I want to launch and what strategies. And so XMARS has helped you to able to do that very quickly and also do it very efficiently. And we have the business cases to show it, or the case studies to show it as well. So
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is from a brand perspective is it's interesting because we went through a phase of time a few years back where the digital teams were being really poured into. When you say they're doubling or tripling in size, that in a lot of cases that's going from 1 to 2, right, to 4 to 6 or something like that. But we're now, I'm seeing the exact opposite happen. There's a lot of
mhm,
constriction. Everybody's looking at the digital channel on a profitability basis, and the reality is, if you're a traditional business that has had a huge brick and mortar presence, brick and mortar a lot of times is more profitable. I know there's
mhm,
a lot of third party sellers. You're a direct consumer brand, right? The balance of before and after around profitability are two different things, right? You'll have a legacy brand that says, "Hey, I need to be 60% profitable,"
mhm.
whereas a direct to consumer brand is, and then on Amazon they're 30 or 40. Whereas a newer direct consumer brand might be sitting at 35 to 40, thinking, "Hey, this is fantastic," and for me to get into other sales channels, it's actually lower. But that all goes back to this profitability piece, and as teams are getting shrunk,
Mhm.
this the people that are there, they can't spend all day every day in the back end. I think of back in 2014, 15, 16, and AMS, right, where I just had a young kid in my team just in there updating spend, manually changing it, looking at keywords loaded. You're a single person running a $10 million plus business, all the way into 9 figures. You nor your agency can just be doing that. You can't be in there all day. You can't change bids 1,000 times a day.
Right.
And this new tech, there's a couple of things that's happening that I think people have to be aware of, which is the new tech isn't just it's not just doing actions rules based that you're saying
Oh, yeah.
to do. It is the next level of it's actually learning what's working and making
Yeah.
adjustment. And that's kind of that machine learning piece that's coming along. And so as you're looking at or you're talking to your agency, you're evaluating your tech stack. That's a key part. Is it rules
Mhm.
based or is it AI machine learning? And
Yes.
those are
Mhm.
that machine learning is what allows you to have more time to set strategy as a whole.
Absolutely.
Um, does that strategy, just the question that comes in here, does that strategy change around Cyber 5?
Yeah, first off, to answer your question, yes, there's some strategy changes around Cyber 5 because it's the influx of customers, potential customers that's coming to the platform, right? Or the ecosystem, I should say. That you want to capitalize on that traffic. And I do want to touch on the fact that although I talked about those actions, those AI actions, those levers we get to pull, the thing about it is right, we're throwing out AI and there's a lot of tools that scream AI or shout AI, but it is rules-based automation. We have rules-based automation, but our AI co-pilot is a lot more complex than that. There's multitude of algorithms that are running in the background. Risk algorithms, like you said, machine learning algorithms or the predictive algorithms to help understand what is that next best decision as well. So this is true AI that you're helping to steer in the right direction, not just rules-based automation. There's some really cool things that we're doing with that as well. In regards to, like the Turkey 5 and Q4 season, there's things that you want to do from a strategy perspective. A lot, if you really want to get into the weeds with it, there's things that you can do in optimization you can do on a detail page. So if you want to update and refresh your images to make them a little bit more holiday specific, right now we're coming into like Halloween, for example. So if you want to do like a Halloween theme for some of your products that make sense, or for example, those things you can do to refresh your detail page, because your detail page is really the foundation of your success, right? That's what's going to help a customer make a purchase decision and be informed about your product and also add to cart and purchase. And that whole journey is very important. And it all starts there. If you don't have a detail page that converts, it doesn't really matter what you do with advertising. There's always going to be a ceiling on what you're going to be able to do in the performance and the return on your investment that you're going to be able to gain. So that's critical here. Leading up to
Really
the
quick, one
oh
other
yeah.
thing on that, as I was just did a podcast with an old friend, Spencer Millerberg, and we're talking about content as a whole.
Hmm.
And there is actually an organic sales boost that the Amazon algorithm naturally gives to you when you update your content. Now, obviously, it can't be garbage update, but if you're continually going in and optimizing,
Hmm.
whether that's on a bi-monthly, a quarterly basis, refreshing that content to stay on top of the Amazon algorithm and just keep flagging it over and over again,
Hmm.
for whatever reason, that is factored into that. So I think you
Hmm.
get twofold, right? Is one is, hey, you're going in and you're touching it. It's not only is more relevant for the shopper, but also the Amazon algorithm is saying, hey, this has been touched. Let's put it in front of people as a whole. Um,
Yeah, that's a great point. And there's a couple things here. I mean, everything on Amazon is pretty nuanced, right? There's pros and cons to everything here. So what I would say is that um, you should definitely look at what your detail pages are doing and the content on that multiple times a year. And let's call it once a quarter at a minimum, right? And not necessarily you're making any significant changes per se, but the way that customers search and find your products, there's search terms, there's keywords that you type in, right? These keywords help you identify that product. And over time, some of those things may change. Some of them may have higher volume one month and then may switch and get lower volume the next month, depending on what people see, how people are searching. There's other advertising that influences how people search for a product, etc. There's a multitude of things. So if like this is really advanced here. So if you're on top of this, right, you can understand as the search volume moves where you want to start indexing a little bit more as far as your budget and what you're trying to advertise against. This is really critical, let's say, with sponsored ads, right? So sponsored products, people typically spend anywhere between 70 to 80% of their budget if they're doing DSP on just sponsored ads portion of this. And DSP is demand side platform, the programmatic approach to Amazon advertising. And so when you're really starting to spend those dollars, those incremental changes really can start getting that incrementality for your business as well, where you can start to really fine tune. Indexing is very important. This is how customers find your product. That's what like triggers Amazon's algorithm. So understanding how people are searching for your product and those keywords that are driving that volume for your brand and those keywords is critically important. And some really fascinating tools here that we have with AMC, Amazon's marketing cloud, that can help you identify that at a sponsored product level as well that I want to talk about.
yeah,
So
let's get into
very important.
Marketing Cloud. No, that's awesome. So a couple things. on the line, anybody, if you want a couple recommendations, there's some new tech that's popped up that allows you to automatically update the detail pages that are out there. Ping me, Aaron, AARON at bwgconnect.com. I can shoot you a list of who they are. Just shoot me an email, please. Because I know content updates, the amount of time that it takes, the money, it's a huge issue for brands, and it costs a lot of money. So new tech, again, that's out there, kind of like, well, this new tech all the time. It's awesome. Let's jump into then the marketing cloud, because I've
Yes.
heard, as we look at how people shop today, it's a bigger holistic thing. And especially if you have a direct consumer site, even if you just use it as a marketing site, if you can get that ideal shopper and you can pull it from there, and I know you can do this with Marketing Cloud and plug that in to AMC to create custom audiences, now we're talking about getting highly targeted. I'd love to hear, more on that and how it works and how hard it is to do. And, is this something that's super simple that everybody should be doing now?
Absolutely, Aaron. So I'm really excited about this stuff, man. It's really exciting because I think it's extremely powerful for brands here. AMC, Amazon's Marketing Cloud. If you're unfamiliar with this, think about this as really that unique visitor data, that information on a customer like myself or you, Aaron, that may shop for a particular product in the brand and engage with their ads, or maybe just organically as well. And you can start to really get specific on the type of customer and demographic that you're targeting based on their shopping behavior, right? That's both your shopping behavior or on your direct-to-brand site if you want to, or Amazon shopping behavior as well. And that's what we're going to kind of index to on this front. So that allows you really to understand the full customer journey of Amazon shoppers and help you retarget them as they shop on Amazon for other people's products and also yours. So what you can do with this, and so XMARS, this is also one of the reasons why we were up for the Technology Innovation Award and it won that in 2023 is because of our node code solution for AMC. The challenge here is that AMC is pretty complex. It's a ton of data, a ton of spreadsheets, and you need to know SQL in order to code that. So that's typically the bottleneck. Does the agency have resources and the skill set for SQL coders, right? They have to hire for that. For example, brands have to hire for that. Typically that can be pretty expensive and it's very niche, if you will. And so with our no-code solution, we're able to get you like 10 different models and queries that you can use in order to specify or implement these strategies and create audiences through our AMC Hub or DSP. Now, what's big about this is that we can get down to like a campaign level. We can get down to an ASIN level. So if you have a hero product, this helps us unlock things like understanding your path to conversion. So we can look at every media type that the customers touched that led to a conversion at an ASIN and campaign level, or you can do it at a brand level. We can look at cross-product association that informs upsells and cross-sells. So for example, if a potential customer came in one of your hero products, I know there's a couple of supplement brands and they're in the audience potentially here. So for example, if there's like a mixed supplement, you have a mixed flavors, for example, and that's your lead-in product. We can understand if they engage with that lead-in product, and typically they find a flavor that they like. And so what do? They may come back to buy that flavor that they like if they enjoyed your product. With this audience insights, now we can create an audience on, hey, they touched this lead-in ASIN, they made a purchase. And then now we can retarget them based on the information that we see in the customer behavior. So if we know that they like flavor B, out of this multi-pack, for example, we can retarget customers who purchased your lead-in product, which is the multi-pack, retarget them with flavor B because there's a high propensity for the customer to come back and purchase that product. This is how granular you can get with those AMC insights, right? There's a couple others here.
Then you're plugging that in, you're pulling it out of AMC, and then you're creating the custom audiences from it. Then you're plugging that into the DSP to then run whatever kind of ads.
Absolutely. So that's exactly what we're doing. So before, when I was running DSP, you had to like understand, talk to the brand. Okay, give me like what you think your ideal customer is. And you try to build that out with your exclusions and your inclusions with your audiences. You go out, you test that on different devices and screens, different inventory, which is Amazon owned and operated, or 3P inventory that you may see on different websites that they have these media buys. And you test and learn, look back windows, you test and learn, right? With our technology, it helps you identify based on your current purchase behavior with your brand, and we can pull the last 12.5 months based on Amazon's information that they give you. We can understand how they've engaged with your brand and create these custom audiences based off their behavior, right? So we can retarget this. And we know now that custom audiences outperform standard audiences. For my records right now, at least 1.5%. We've had examples to 2 to 4x the performance boost with custom audiences, because you're able to get very specific in what you're targeting based on your past customer behavior. It's quite fascinating.
So I'm thinking Cyber 5 here. Number
Yeah.
one, I'm going to touch. I want as much organic search traffic as possible. I don't have to pay for it, right? And by the way, organic search, in the more you show up, the more people click and buy, the more optimized the actual algorithm on the back end for serving ads, for who's getting the best cost ads for any potential product that you're advertising on. Now I'm making sure I have an AMC instance, right? And you have a specific offer. You have a couple products, right? One is this just plugs into AMC. The other is the ad tech. They can be separate, right? So a lot of brands, they've got an agency. They're not going to make the decisions on the ad tech for XMars, but the AMC instance, they can get and own that. Create your own custom audiences and do that. If you can look back 12 months, then you're doing that right now, because we're at Q4 and you're
Yes,
seeing
absolutely.
specifically how people act in Q4 around your products. And now, oh, this is awesome. Okay.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. DSP when it first came out a few years ago, maybe a little bit more than that now, maybe it's 4. Time flies over, the time where we're kind of stuck in our houses there. Um, the thing about it is people are really hesitant with the adoption because they don't understand the value of DSP. And implementation is very different. It's unique. It's bespoke towards your brand, right? And so that's what's the interesting about it. AMC was that missing piece because that allows you that information so you can really start to identify, customers who potentially have a higher propensity to buy from your brand, right? So that's the missing link. Instead of, we didn't understand, is it real incrementality, for example. We can understand incrementality because now we can build out a lifetime value model and a cohort analysis, which is one of the models that we have. So we can understand with the dollars that you're spending right now, where you broke even, for example, on your ROAS, and what is a leading ROAS, for the following 6, 7, 8 months past that time as well, right? We can understand based off of what you're spending on, we can understand how to reallocate that budget more efficiently through your DSP or your sponsored ad campaigns, which is your sponsored products, display, and brand, to maximize on that current spend. So there's this really unique stuff that we can do just based off of having that information for that particular
Yeah.
brand, AMC instance, which is huge. Leading up to this, we know that there's going to be a ton of traffic, and we know that people are typically on the fence leading up to these big sell days. So what do? You have customers. So, when you talk about upper and middle and lower funnel DSP strategies, now you can look at AMC, say, hey, here's the audience we should be targeting. This is why. Here are the people who engage. And this can lead into like, okay, maybe there's something here for DSP for me and for my brand, especially with consumable products. And there's a lot of repeat purchase behavior. That's huge, right? So if you know they're going to be window shopping, if you will, or digital window shopping on Amazon leading up to these deal days, you have this ramp up period. So you're pushing heavier on your sponsored ads, the lower funnel stuff. You're getting them interested. They're typing in things that they may want to purchase during the sales. And if they're engaging with your brand, now you can get this audience. So we're building a kind of going out and conquesting for new to brand customers, right? Get them engaged with your brand, help them, show them some things that are in there, right? They may not purchase right now. That's when you can start building out these retargeting on audiences, right? Or segments. So as you're filling the top of the funnel, now they're engaging with your brand. Now you retarget these customers based on the customer behavior that we see with the AMC data. And if they make purchases, then you can go a little bit deeper and start retargeting for other products in your portfolio that makes sense based off of that customer behavior as well. So extremely powerful leading up to this sales period where people are just shopping and trying to get used to the brand or understand the brand a little bit more and engaging with it, to help you retarget and really start to kind of drive home some of this profitability during Q4.
Yeah. I mean, the comment that AMC was the connector. I'm throwing back like way back to AMG days, right? And I think one of the biggest things with DSP is it was still the hey, just trust us, which was
Yep.
the same thing we got with AMG, which was just trust us. Hey, it's working. Hey, there's a halo effect. And I'm like, well, you're saying trust you, but I'm looking at the product I did an AMG campaign on, and you say I've got, a 1.8 ROAS, and I'm not doing, 80% more. Like I can literally look at it. Now, then they say halo effect, but you lost me when you say halo effect. Well, you lost me when you were saying I got 1.8 and I didn't go up 80%. You you totally lost me. Like
Yeah.
I'm gone. I don't and so yes, what the marketing cloud does, I totally agree with you, is it's hey, I get to take a look at the data and
Hmm.
then I get to craft it and I get to make the decision on what I want to spend through DSP, and then I get to measure the results. And what we're
Yes.
seeing now is finally when it's me as a brand doing it, not my Amazon advertising, rep, right? And
Mhm.
I've had this funny conversation even with June, right? It's like I remember when you say just trust me, but I couldn't just trust you.
You're
And
right.
he's like, yeah, which is with the marketing cloud, like I don't have to just trust Amazon. Well, I guess I'm still trusting their marketing cloud, but from what I'm hearing from a ton of brands is the ability to do that and create it. You do get an increase in returns, which is what everybody wants at this point in time. Just show me the clarity, right? That's give me the data, give me access to the data, let me crunch my own numbers. Um, been a huge benefit, right? Like just
Absolutely.
huge.
It went from, is this like, come go trust me, just trust me, but you have to spend like 50, $60,000 a month, and then
Yeah,
it works though, it works, right? But just, and so that AMC data really, again, it's all about attribution, helping you understand that customer journey, understanding where those dollars are coming from, and then being able to target them very specifically, right? So AMC unlocks that attribution that people were looking for. If you want to understand the halo effect, fine. We have a model for that, right? You can look at your cross-product association. You want to understand how your cohort analysis, your lifetime value, fine. We have a model for that as well. And what I want to talk about here as well, when you talk about new to brand customers, when 70% of those dollars, typically 70, 80% is being spent on sponsored ads, one of the things that's very difficult to find is the new to brand impact for sponsored products. That's been huge. You can do this for sponsored brands and display, but you could not do it for sponsored products where that is where a majority of most dollars
right.
are. With this new model that we have, we're able to get extremely granular and look at keywords that customers are searching, whether it be branded or unbranded, so you can identify what's driving that purchase volume, right? What is driving that new to brand customer as well. So if you have a keyword, for example, the famous keyword back in the day was garlic press. I don't know why that became the example, but if you had garlic press, right, that's the root term. But then people were searching for industrial garlic press, or stainless steel garlic press, or commercial garlic press is silicone handles, whatever the case is. You want to understand, like, hey, okay, what am I converting on these particular keywords? How many new to brand customers are am I acquiring with this particular keyword? And that can inform where you want to spend your dollar as well. So if you know that you're converting similarly on, like, let's say stainless steel garlic press and commercial garlic press, be it commercial garlic press had a higher add to cart value or purchase volume because maybe it was from businesses who are really kind of shopping through that particular search term. So your add to cart value may be 2x what it is for just stainless steel garlic press. Where are you going to invest some of those dollars? That can help inform that, right? So it's if you want to get down to that level, you can. And we have the ability to do that now, especially understanding new to brand for not only your DSP, sponsored brands and sponsored display, but now we can understand new to brand for your sponsored products as well. And that's going to be huge.
When this is awesome. So updating content at Q4, getting a marketing cloud instance of some sort right now, a tool to help you analyze and crunch it all so you can craft better campaigns. Awesome. Now, what does budget look like? I want to say between now, what do you see brands doing with their budget? So think back even, I know now with XMars, but even the Media Monks, the York Pacific days, what has changed? And then how should brands be thinking about spending, upping their
Yeah.
dollars like
Yeah.
in
You know,
Q4?
it's interesting because it really just depends on your seasonality, right? If you're a health brand, maybe Q1 is your Q4 versus like the standard Q4, for example. So this really depends on what your peak seasons are. Um, you know, DSP is interesting because there's a couple different values hanging out there as far as if you can go direct to Amazon for DSP, for example, right? Is it $1 million the last 12 months? Is it 2 million? Those are big differences, right? And nobody's really quite sure here. But if you work with an agency partner like us, as well, you can get access to DSP with a little bit less barrier of entry there. And as far as the spend goes, it depends on your appetite and budget. But what people do typically is they look at the information with AMC and understand, like, here's your potential, here's your audience. We have this, right? We're able to optimize on this, and that makes your dollar go a little bit further. Instead of saying like, hey, give us $20,000, $35,000 a month. We're going to do some test and learning, kind of figure out. Then we're going to look at these audiences, do our overlap analysis with the demographics, and kind of fine tune from there. This A/B test. Now we have this AMC data, which is that attribution, so we can understand and do a lot of that upfront. So now the investment, there's a lower barrier of entry typically. So working with us, we typically have minimums depending on kind of where you are in your business. It is flexible, right? We say that $10,000 to $15,000 range is where you want to kind of be when you're starting off, and that's your level of investment. But again, it all just depends on your level of business. We have people who start off with budgets that are in the high five figures or even low six figures. But again, it's different budgets, different categories, different products. We just need to look at your business and look at the information and determine what's the best strategy there.
And that's like a spend level, right?
Yeah, that's the spend level. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But
super.
that helps you get just more granular, right? So instead of us coming out and say, hey, let's spend this money and try to go out and get the data information, we're still doing that. But now with this AMC and these custom audiences that we can just push directly to your platform, we're able to really kind of fine tune this very quickly. I'm so passionate about
No,
this. For
it's
example,
interesting. I mean, I think marketers as a whole, we're trying to figure out what to do, and we get hit with the pandemic, right? And I'm going to go back to, I mean, it's 4 years ago, but
sure.
it completely changed the last 4 years. You first go from nobody having product to having tons of product, from not needing a discount because you don't have inventory to having so much that you need it. And now we're at a time where then you get to the point where everybody has tons of money. It was like this really cool time. But now we're in a season where, we have, so I'm talking to 20 or 30 brands a week, right? I try to stay on top of those trends. And one of the things I hear right now is, hey, fewer people are out there spending money, and they're spending less money. I just come out of the Housewares Association, their CEO event, and just talking with a lot of them about what's going on, inventory levels, profitability, softness of market, and it's we're just in a different time, and that includes the tech tools that we have. And so all of that thrown together with how do you approach a Q4 and a Cyber 5 is completely new this year. I mean, go back 5 years, these tools weren't here. Life is just normal. The overall percent of your business that is on Amazon or direct to consumer is still a little tiny fraction. That's almost a rounding error for a lot of people. And there's one person on a team in the corner, like doing something squirrely to the rest of the business. So I guess the other key takeaways I would have, as a brand is, like, you have to stay on top of the newest tech. You can't let it slip, because you're not going to be able to spend as efficiently, right? You're just not. You need some kind of tech, or you need to be going to your agency and double checking your agency. What are you doing? How are you doing it? How can I help you? Do you have a marketing cloud instance? If you do, can I put a pixel on my website? Like, these are whole new conversations, I guess, is another thing I would say as we're talking here. And I'm just combining conversation with brands, is have a different conversation with your agency than you've ever had before. Do you have this? If not, what can we do to get you on it?
Absolutely.
And what can I put a pixel on my direct to consumer site, even if it's just a marketing site, so you can see who that customer is, so we can all work better together.
And so
these aren't things that were happening a year ago. It's crazy.
Exactly. I want to drive this home for the audience here. I want to give a couple concrete examples here. So for example, you haven't used AMC, you haven't used DSP. So what would be some of that low hanging fruit, right? How would you implement this strategy going into like the Q4, for example? One of the lowest hanging fruits that we see here is, let's say a customer came in, they viewed your brand or viewed multiple products, they did not purchase. Or maybe they added to cart and had not purchased, or viewed 3 detail pages and had not purchased. We can retarget them. We can also exclude, I know there was a supplement brand again, we can also exclude subscribe and save customers, right? So if we're focusing on new to brand and new customer acquisition, now we can exclude subscribe and save, target customers who had viewed multiple detail pages within your brands or specific ASINs, so it can inform us how we want to particularly retarget them. We know window shopping, digital window shopping is going to be a thing leading up to holiday seasons. This is your typical ramp up period. So as customers start to gauge, now that fills that funnel to retarget them with products that they seem interested in based off the keywords that they type or the products that they've seen, right? But add to cart, have not purchased, multiple detail page views, have not purchased, are audiences that typically have converted higher because of the higher propensity and higher signal to convert. So this is just, again, one of the things you could just implement right off the bat leading into a Q4 season to really help you stretch that dollar and return and get a greater return on your dollar in investment. So
That's awesome. But they keep changing. I mean, that was another major thing that people have been talking about is how much everything has changed just over the past year.
yeah.
What they're required to do, their team sizes, execution, strategy. It's crazy, my friend.
It's complex. I mean, think about this. You know, we started with sponsored products back in the day. Now we have sponsored brands, sponsored display, sponsored TV. We know do streaming TV as well. Then we have DSP. Now we have AMC. And we got to figure out how all of these things are related to each other, right? Your content on your detail pages, how the customer searches, your products, how to engage with all these different advertising types that are Amazon. What do they look like on Amazon, off Amazon, that purchase behavior, and how do we get attribution through that whole funnel from top to bottom so we can make sure that we're getting customers back and growing our business, right? It's not just change some bids now and bid on these keywords. It's a plethora of strategies. It's a real strategy that you have to implement here, you know, to be successful in these e-commerce marketplaces. And Amazon is right now is at the top of the game,
Yeah.
but it's also the most complex, right? And so as things get more complex, the tools had to get more complex as well. And we did our best to try to get this complexity and simplify it so we can implement these strategies easier. No code solutions, models that answer like 85 to 90% of the questions that you may have. Now we have AMC and kind of build that out with it as well. AI with sponsored ads, hourly data with AMS, you name it,
Yeah.
things are being built. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's just Amazon, right?
and
I
that's
mean,
just Amazon.
where
Exactly.
it's like we have to have another whole call, like, for Q4 prep, because Walmart, and I mean, Walmart, if you can get your content right and you can do the paid media right, you can actually do quite well. It's not going to hit Amazon level for most
Mhm.
people. But then we
Right.
also talk direct to consumer. Then we're talking Target. We did a podcast with Lauren Levac at the Digital Shelf Institute and Nate Pinkston over at like Microsoft Retail Media. And
Yeah.
there's over 650 retail media networks. And we're just talking here on this one about Amazon as we hit Q4, is everybody's being pinged in Q4. It's the marketer's job, man. The digital marketer's job is one of the toughest ones out there for sure.
Absolutely. You know, it's I never thought I'd actually be in this position. You know, it just so happens that, hey, you know, my entrepreneurship kind of led me down to I lost a bit of money. Let's just say that my first year of selling on Amazon, as many people may know. And from there, I was like, you know what? I don't want to make this advertising mistake again. So in order for me to,
Yeah.
it's the biggest teacher, right? It's the greatest teacher. Lose a little bit of money and it'll get you right. And so I did that and I just dove in and, you know, that's just kind of how my mind works there. And so it's definitely got more complex, but it's definitely helped businesses as well, right? As things grow. And so we also do Walmart, right? And you know, here's the thing. You know, we pretty much have really kind of maximized what we can do with Walmart's API. Walmart's going to get more complex as time goes on, just like Amazon. They have to stay competitive. And so one of the things was you got in early with Amazon and understood the value of that advertising and those strategies, and you started to win with that, right? And we see the same thing with Walmart as well, right? And so although it's not as complex and as detailed as Amazon, they've made some changes, right? Especially with their bidding model and how they bid. For example, like Second Chance where, you know, it's not to get too nuanced, but this is how your maximum bid and what you'll actually bid, for example, how you set that, those things come over time and they're going to continue to evolve. And our API and our advertising with them and technology is going to continue to evolve as well. So this is huge, right? And so get on early because it's advertising is valuable. You know, it's here to stay. And we know that e-commerce is here to stay as well, right? Brick
Yeah.
and mortar is still powerful, right? It's still there, but we also know that online shopping is still growing, right? May have taken a little bit of step back from the pandemic, but naturally, right? But we still see that this is a formidable force, and you're going to have to play in the space, right?
Yeah, I think the one thing, as the pendulum was swinging during the pandemic, to huge all online shopping, and then it was swinging back to a lot of brands looking to get back to brick and mortar. The pendulum isn't necessarily going to come back basically to where people buy, but how people buy has now
Mhm.
completely changed. And the fact that they are looking for products everywhere and anywhere, and this blend of, hey, I need a direct to consumer site, or at least for marketing purposes, even if the people aren't buying on it, because people will go look, and that balance of performance marketing dollars and where they're going, um it's just it's crazy. They, as you factor then in, retail media dollars, shopper marketing dollars, the marketing teams are I mean, they're pressed harder.
Yeah, we
um
have our work cut out for us for sure.
Yeah. So as we kind of get to the end here, I
Yeah.
want to shoot it over to you for key takeaways and what brands should be thinking about here. But also, I want to have a quick reminder, everybody on the call today, if you ever want to have a chat, we don't sell anything here at BWG Connect. It's a giant networking group. I like to chat with people to stay on top of the trends. More than happy to share with you what I'm hearing across the industry and what brands are doing to prep for Q4. If you need any help with, agency partner selection, or you want to list, you want to chat on the newest tech tools that are touching profitability as a whole, it's a key thing. But more than happy to set aside 30 minutes with anybody on the call and just rip through, like, hey, these are the major new tech that's popping up. That's on the Amazon side, the direct to consumer side. It's literally everywhere. There's some really cool stuff that is finally true AI and ML, not just going overseas overnight for hands on keyboard and back in the morning for an answer. Um, some really cool, but would love to chat with anybody on the phone. And then obviously more than happy to connect you with the team at XMars. Again, if you're going to be in Austin and Unboxed, let us know. We'll make sure to get you a seat at the table, the dinner we're doing there. But David, I'll kick it over to you. You want to kind of wrap us up here with some
Yeah, I
key
definitely wrap
thoughts?
it up here. And also, I know this is a lot of information, right? And we're happy to show you. So if you wanted the demo, again, you can reach out to Aaron, you can reach out to us as well. I can just kind of show you exactly what our technology is doing, so you can just make it more tangible. So you can see some of the things that we've been doing with our software as well with XMars. So feel free to reach out to either one of us as well. I'm david.liggins@xmars.com. As far as kind of wrapping up here, some final statements. The biggest thing is here is that um, no matter what e-commerce platform, I know we're talking about Amazon specifically here, you just got to make sure that, content is king. You got to make sure that you're retail ready. You have a detail page that can convert. That's going to inform a lot of things about your Amazon strategy and how you convert and the performance as well. So that's really important, okay? And from there, it's understanding that customer journey. And if you don't have access to AMC, get it. I mean, the information that you could get from this on a unique visitor level is just it's invaluable, right? You have to do this. And so I know a lot of people are hesitant for running DSP, but I know that right now people want to get more profitable. They want to grow their brands. They want to grow their businesses. And that's going to take new customer acquisition. And AMC helps you unlock that and put that together with DSP, so you can really go out there and stretch that dollar and make it go a little bit further and just be more efficient with that, right? We have quite a few case studies on xmars.com. You can look at those resources so you can see the work that we have done and work that brands have done using our technology. And I'm happy to talk about this all day long at a later time as well. So feel free to reach out to Aaron or myself, and we'll get a demo set up for you. But I'm looking forward to speaking with you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, my friend. Thanks for
Absolutely.
your time today. Thanks for being open to sharing with the network. And
No problem.
everybody, look for a follow-up email from us. We'd love to have a conversation. With that, we're going to wrap up this webinar here. Everybody take care, stay safe, and look forward to having you at a future event. Alrighty, take care. We'll
Take
see
care.
everybody. Alrighty, bye-bye.